What's up YouTube, Dale here from Zephyr Wargames, and today I'm going to bring you my first place ninja profile. So this deck took on Kashtira's branded Dragon Link and then Track Tricks in the final as well. The deck did incredibly well. It does have some very good matchups and then some okay matchups, but if you're able to pilot it correctly, you should be doing okay. So with all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more upcoming content. So we start off with, of course, Triple Hanzo. So this is your main starter of the deck. This is the normal summon, get a ninjutsu art. It is also on special summon. Keeping in mind that they are when effects, they can miss timing. It lets you add a ninja monster from your deck to the hand. You've then, of course, got Triple Mitsu. Now, this is the card that can special summon itself for free if you control a ninja or a face-down defense position monster. And then it does give you the ability to target a face-down monster you control, flip it face up, and if you do, flip this card face down to negate an effect that your opponent has activated. So this can be very, very important because it does allow you to kind of deal with a lot of stuff that your opponent can activate. So that's very, very important as well. And the fact is when your opponent activates a monster effect, so you got to be keep that in mind that it does allow you to deal with Nibiru, which this deck can run headfirst into. Then you've got Triple Tabari. So Tabari is insanely powerful for this deck. The fact that it can send itself from the hand to the graveyard to special summon a ninja monster from the hand in face up or face down defense is very, very important. It then has the ability that during your opponent's main phase or battle phase as a quick effect, you can fusion summon a ninja fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as material. Now keep in mind as well that all of the ninja fusion monsters of Yagamaru and Maizen are contact fusion, which basically means they can be used by tributing the monsters you control to technically special summon them. So that's how you can use face down ninja monsters to get to them as well. We've then got two of the Gravity Ninja and one Kagado, one green, one Baku. Now, the one-offs worked out completely fine. There's not really any of them, maybe green that I might consider putting at 2. But if I was to put any of these back up to 2, I would definitely put Yugioh down to 1. Now, there was one time in a matchup where it was a grindy game. It was against a Track Tricks matchup. We just kept battling resources against each other, where I drew into the second one, and I was like, I really don't want it in my hand. But that was the only time. Other than that, ratios worked out just nicely for me. The last, well, I say monster that isn't a hand trap, but technically this is a hand trap. So during your main phase is Silent Wobby. So during the main phase, you get to special summon this card from the hand to your opponent's side of the field. When summoned this way, your opponent draws one card, and if you do, you as the player that sent Wobby across to your opponent's field, gain 2,000 life points. Now, it's a nice option in time. The issue with it is it does give your opponent a draw. Now, the reason that you play Silent Wobby or that it works so well is when you've got Maizen on the board, you give Wobby to your opponent. It's then your opponent activating the Wobby effect. So you can then trigger Maizen's effect in order to give you another ninja from the deck, which can, of course, be a Tabari, it can be a Yugioh, it depends on what you're going to be going for. But it basically gives you a turn 0 ability to trigger off the Maizen. It is a risky card. Like, it's good to play around Evenlies and Lightning Storms and Imperms and everything else like that. However, it does give your opponent a monster to use as fodder. So in the Track Tricks matchup, I took this straight out because it gives them a free level 4 to make rank 4 plays with. You've got to be a little bit more careful. It's good, it's amazing in the Kashtira matchup because you give this to them and then they have to open up Birth in order to play. And even then, you're really kind of controlling your opponent with the Maizens and the constant Book of Moons and everything else. So it's a card that I was finding myself siding out quite a lot. If you wanted to take these out, these can very easily be imperms. They could be more Ghost Second cards like Board Breakers, Negators, you name it. And then the final monster was, of course, Triple Ashbottom. Pretty straightforward and simple on that. Moving into the spells, so this is the only like cost upgrade that I made, and even then, I'm not completely sold on it. Like, I get it, I understand why you need this, because there will be times when you'll open up your opening hand of 5 and be like, damn, I'm missing a piece to go full combo, but I've got Prosperity digs and finds you that piece. However, it stunts the OTK play, because the OTK play with the deck is that you get Maizen on the board and then all your ninjas can start attacking directly. But it really depends. Like, there's a reason that I was playing stuff like Book of Eclipse and Book of Moon. Not only does it help you dodge targeting effects, but it also allows you to kind of play around breaking boards as well and putting some of your opponent's boss monsters face down. And then you just attack over them. Like, you don't even need to worry about getting rid of them. And worst case scenario, if you're in such a big of a bind, you can Book of Eclipse, go into a XYZ, whether it be Ninja or Exciton, and then go Zeus and kind of clear the board off that way. A card that I thought was absolutely amazing is the Art Book of Mystery. Like, the fact that it just needs your opponent to control a card. So they can have a field spell, they can have a back row, they can have a set, it doesn't matter. And that's straight away another great way of being able to give your opponent a wobby. Because if you give your opponent a wobby and you've got to this, you can then activate this as well, which gives you another ninja and can recycle, or vice versa. You can get a ninja from the deck or from the graveyard, or a ninjutsu art from the graveyard, and vice versa. Really, really powerful card. Absolutely love it. Really, really good in the deck right now. And then we've got 2 Iron Digger. I upgraded this one from 1 to 2. I still think that it works really, really well. I was surprised that I ever actually played it at 1. Now that I've used it at 2, I don't feel that I want to go back to playing it at 1. It's so good. The fact that you can equip it to any monster and treat it as a ninja. And then because it's treated as a ninja, that's where cards like your ninjutsu Art of Dancing Leaves comes into play, because you can start tributing that monster off to activate the effect. So I think that's really kind of cool. Not to mention that if this is sent from the field to a grade, you get to target one of your banished ninjas and add it, or special summon it face down. So. And then for the books, we've got 2 Book of Moon and 2 Book of Eclipse. Pretty straightforward on this one. Obviously, a complete board shutdown, ninjas, attack over, OTK, and then Book of Moon to help not only your stuff dodge imperms and veilers, but to kind of stop your opponent being able to link play, synchro play, you name it. If they put a tuner on the board, Book of Moon it. If they put a Tractrix monster on the board, Book of Moon it, stops them going into Sarah. Constantly powerful and very, very useful. And then we've got some power one-offs in the form of Rotor, Cool Bite, and Instant Fusion. Instant Fusion can only get you Yugioh, which is cool as a nice little bit of spot removal, and it does give you a free ninja on the board that you can then use to contact fuse off. Rotor can pretty much get you into the main ninjas that you want to go for, which is stuff like your Hanzo, and maybe green as a free extender, and then Cool Bite is Cool Bite. I know it's a bit random, the 1 Dark Hole. This is just one of these ones where I didn't have the other cards on me. Like, I wanted to play stuff like Triple Tactic Talents, and I wanted to play other cards that I completely forgot about, left them at home. So I went through whatever I had on me, and this was one of the cards I had on me. So I put 1 in the main deck to keep it at 40, and then 1 in the side deck. Not a really good example for it, but it just worked out. Like, every time I saw it, it was kind of cool to clear a board off that a lot of people weren't expecting, and then be able to build off the back of that as well. And then a card that I really hope gets an OTS upgrade is Ninjutsu Arts of Dancing Leaves. So this one's really cool. So you activate it by targeting a ninja monster or a face-down fence monster on the field. Tribute it as effect, and if you do, special summon a ninja monster from your deck. When this card leaves the field, send that monster to the graveyard. You get to target a ninjutsu art continuous spell or trap in your spell and trap zones and return it to the hand. So you basically keep looping the dancing leaves. So then once you've got your opponent in a bit of a bind and you've got all their stuff face down, you're constantly going, okay, cool, tribute, get a ninja, bounce it back. Tribute, get a ninja, bounce it back. And it's really, really powerful that way. And then, of course, duplication. Tribute off a ninja monster, special summon any number of ninjas from the deck. Face up attack or face down defense that combined levels equal the level of the tributed, are less than or equal the monster you tributed. And the reason this is so good is if you equip it to a monster that is not a ninja, as long as it's got a level, you can still tribute it, use this effect. And that's how you're getting, like, at the base minimum, Hanzo is the one you just go normal summon Hanzo, search this out, and then activate this during your opponent's turn, and that will give you a face up Tabari, it can give you a face down Tabari, and it can give you a Mitsu. So that gives you the ability with Mitsu to give you a negate, and then of course you've got a Tabari face up to use this quick effect to contact fuse into a Maizen. So really kind of cool and powerful that way as well. So I love this deck. I think the deck's really, really fun. Obviously, like I said at the start, it does have its really good matchups against Cashed Heroes where it just completely counters that deck. And then it has decks that it needs to grind against in forms like Tractrix and Branded as well. So for the extra deck, pretty straightforward and simple on this one. For your fusions, you are going to be rocking triple Maizen and you are going to be rocking triple Yagamaru alongside 1 Ultimate Great Moth. Or Great Insect. For those of you that don't know how you get this out, you equipped Mitsu, which is an insect, with Iron Digger, and then you can basically trigger into this. So it can be special summoned using Ultimate Great Insect. Must first either be fusion summoned or special summoned from the extra deck by tributing an insect monster with 2,000 or more defense, which Mitsu does, with an equipped card. It can't be destroyed by battle, which is nice because it's a new basically a 3,000 boss monster. And then once per turn during the battle phase, if a face-up card in the field zone, quick effect, you can destroy all monsters your opponent controls. And that's where you can play your own field zone to make this more consistent if you want to. But it's just basically being able to turn Mitsu into a 3k boss monster. Maizen is obviously your go-to, and then Yagamaru is your spot removal. And then pretty much the rest of the deck was the budget build that I had previously, which is why I've only got Blade Armor and Exton rather than Zeus. And then for the links, we've got the 1 Relinquish, which I used once, the 1 Asua, the 1 Cross Sheep, and a card that I want to be bumping up to 2 is the Grandmaster. So by doing so, I might drop the Asua down and put Saizo up to 2. and the last two cards of Unicorn and IP. Sorry, not Unicorn, IP. Unicorn and Appaloosa. Obviously, IP is missing, and the reason that is because, obviously, like I said, this was my budget build, and when I went to the locals, this was the deck I had on me, and then I put in Prosperity to try and help consistency. But arguably, if you're feeling lucky, you can just get rid of the Prosperities. Like, I never really had a moment where it came up and I was like, oh yeah, I really need this to help me unbrick my hand. It was kind of like a win more card. Like there was a time where I made Myzen, attacked for 3,000 damage because it was equipped with Iron Digger, and then activated Prosperity in main phase 2 to extend further. Like, there was no need for me to do that, so that's why it wasn't, like, I don't feel, for today anyway, Prosperity was not an absolute mandatory. It wasn't like Prosperity won me the tournament. It was, Prosperity was, okay. But I can understand why at future events you might be like, oh, yo, Prosperity is an absolute must. Anyway, I hope this has given you a couple of ideas on your own build. The deck is incredibly fun, very, very cheap as well if you pick up the right cards from the right people, and I really do enjoy it. It's one of them cards, one of them decks that if you can get a whole court off of a friend for like £50 or less, and then hold on to it, enjoy it, learn it inside and out. It could be one of them ones that dips in and out of formats as rogue decks, and then in the future could possibly get more ninja support. And the best thing about this is you can play it control, you can play it aggression, combo. It does have different variations and different varieties, which is also what gives it another level of basically variety, which I really, really enjoy. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Do it to like, comment, subscribe, share. Any questions, please put them in the comments down below. I will be more than happy to answer them. But for now, as absolutely always, stay safe. And of course, happy dueling.